forgot to put up a little post and remind everybody that I was going to do this. So, yeah. So here I am. We're at the cemetery, walking and having a good time because it's beautiful. It's warming up, and we're starting to see a little hopeful, energetic trends coming in. That's amazing in itself. So I want to talk about the planets first. There isn't a lot going on. Last week with I was talking about the the influences with those planetary trends that were in Pisces, and how it might make us a little foggy. It was the Sun and Neptune. So, and how it might make us a little foggy. Neptune was or is kind of the ruler of the hidden influences and the mystical and the magical and but also can, our deepest fears, right? And so we had that going on, and we had the Sun like putting this huge spotlight on it. So and I warned everybody, be a little careful, be cautious, because this can create some, fogginess in the way we're processing things. But boy, oh boy, talk about holy nightmares on Elm Street, people. I had a couple really dark nightmares on those couple days. So if you had those experiences, like I had, it's almost like drudging up what you're most fearful of, right? And kind of sending it out there to like be processed. It's like digging around to your deepest, darkest fears. And then the Sun said, no, we're gonna pull this up and we're gonna address it and we're gonna wash, dry, fold it, and put it away. So that's what was going on. So this week, let me think here. Mercury is moving into Pisces on Monday, and it will be there until April 3rd. I think if I'm wrong about that, I'll put it in the comments afterwards. So that's where it'll be. So Mercury is the communications expert and little short distance travel, and so Mercury in Pisces is going to encourage us to, it'll support our communication, with love and with elegance and grace and those kind of things. So if there's anything that you're wanting to, do you need to write a letter to somebody or an email or whatever. So if there's anything that maybe you felt a little stalled out or you hadn't gotten to it or you want to express yourself, you'll definitely have that support with Mercury in Pisces. So now would be the time, or if you feel inspired to write something or blog something or poetry or music or whatever, this will lend you that planetary support to get to it, so pen and paper in hand, right? It's a good thing. Or your keyboard. So, and then Saturday is the spring equinox. So here like I said, we're moving in the right direction. Birth and renewal and energetic support, planetary support. So it's looking up. Everything's starting to look up, which I am so grateful for. This has been a long year for everyone, no matter how you slice it. And there's still this sensation, little maybe post-traumatic stress or concern, with the health, and the more physical health starts to in our communities starts to gain ground, and become strong, then we have to, what am I searching for here? Be mindful of the mental health challenges that maybe your neighbors or your loved ones or whoever may be faced with. Have a little bit more patience. If you're finding yourself, bouncing into like fear-based aggression or anxiety, just let's turn down the volume on that a little bit. It's going to get better, and it is what it is. There, it will. It really will. So this week I had some interesting interactions with clients, and so this encouraged me to speak about these things, and a perspective that I've come to know as a possibility of truth, okay, with soul memories, okay? So I had a couple clients just yesterday that had family members that had overdosed, and so the loss is obviously unbearable for them. Addiction takes its toll, and I don't think that this is all that uncommon. I think pretty much every household could or has a reference point within their family, in-laws, outlaws, or whatever, where the family unit is affected by addictive behavior. And so I walked this theory through, or shared this theory with the couple people in that predicament yesterday, and so I thought maybe I should go into depth a little bit more about that, and how soul memories actually influence our comfort, the comfort zone that we're in our soul cage that we're provided with at birth, right? So maybe these theories would help you have a little bit more, open your mind a little bit more, have be more empathetic or understanding, because usually what we're afraid of or we make fun of or we, try to cast aside is something we're afraid of. So we don't understand it, so we become afraid of it, and then we respond in a negative or just not in an empathetic way to people we don't understand. So, all right. I have a theory, and I wanted to talk about the transgender community too, with love and with support. So I don't want anybody going anywhere they don't need to be going with me about that issue, because that's not who I am or where I'm at all. So, but I'll get to that in a minute. So, have you ever been, like when you go on vacation, we'll go maybe to the East Coast or the West Coast or wherever, and we visit these beautiful sites, and we're like, this is just amazing. We have a really good time, and the view is breathtaking, but right, there is that little kind of nagging kind of homing device, right? It's like, or maybe in the back of your mind you're thinking, no, this is beautiful, this is amazing, but I don't see myself living here. I'm sure that's happened to a lot of you, right? And then you visit another city or state or country, and it's almost like the minute your feet hit the ground, you know you're home. I mean, you're having deja vus and butterflies here, and you feel like, wow, this is so familiar to me, right? I can give you a couple personal examples, and like for me, Arizona, it's amazing, it's gorgeous, but it's not home to me. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with Arizona or it's crappy or anything. With my soul memory, it doesn't resonate. It's beautiful, but it doesn't resonate. And yet, when the first time I went to Los Angeles, all right, first time I went to Los Angeles, it was instant recognition. It was instant. The minute my feet, and there are so many other prettier places in California than that, I suppose, or so I hear. But the minute my feet hit the ground, I'm home. I'm home. People, seem to recognize my spirit. People are friendly. Things flow. But I'll go for a walk, and my son lives in Los Angeles. He's in Long Beach. I'll go for a walk, and I'll come around a corner, and this feels familiar, and that feels familiar. But what's most important is that the grid is speaking to my feet, and then it moves up my physical body, and I'm like, I'm home. So I want you to go into your mind and kind of think of those areas that either resonated with you or didn't resonate with you, okay? And I want you to think about how that felt. In some places, maybe you've been, it's like, ugh, like I can't get out of here fast enough, or town or some type of community. It's like, ooh, this doesn't feel right, So let's take that mindset and let's apply it to someone that has an addiction challenge or had one. Okay, so let's take that into consideration. So what I believe happens, this restlessness and this, their soul or spirit or whatever we want to call it had a memory of being a free-flowing spiritual mass or element or being or whatever you want to call it. Their soul has a memory of that free-flowing state prior to birth, okay? So, and then, it's like it's happened to all of us. If we're mortals, we're here, right? So, in our soul cage. So take that sense. I believe those who have struggled with addiction have a memory of being a free-flowing agent. That's what I believe. And so the confines of the physical body create this restlessness, right? Just like how we felt when we were in a town or a city or a state that just kept kind of haunting us, like this doesn't feel right, or this doesn't feel like home to me, and your homing device is calling you, like, okay, you're ready to go home. It can happen to you without it. It doesn't have to be an unpleasant experience. I have a lot of friends that live in Arizona. They thrive and they survive there. A lot of them, I notice, kind of do a little tracking with it, are water signs. they love Arizona. It balances them, you know? So, but let's take that mindset and let's apply it to what it would feel like to be in a soul cage with a subconscious memory of not being trapped in a soul cage. The restlessness. The little kid that's, wiggling in his chair, very bright, can't sit still, maybe gets a D in conduct. I don't know, did they still do that? I don't know. They used to. How do I know? I used to get D's in conduct because I was a busy little kid who got her work done and then was bored with whatever the curriculum was many times. So think about that, and then think about ingesting something that takes you as close to, would it be nirvana? That would be as familiar or as close as you could get to that free-flowing, uninhibited, physical, spiritual experience. Right? So, no wonder this individual would be attracted to a product or drug or alcohol or whatever that would bring them into that comfort level, familiarity. So we all want to feel something familiar. So if we maybe add that thought process into our little repertoire when we are dealing with the heartbreak of an overdose or a family member that just can't seem to release those chains of the product that has them, captured or whatever. So maybe if we look at it like that would give us some peace, a sense of peace or a sense of understanding as to what's going on with them. This isn't an excuse. Because I'll tell you, my life experience with loved ones with these challenges pretty much gives me a doctorate degree in this realm. Seriously, I don't have a little paper to put in a frame and put up on the wall, but I have been put into family dynamics or relationships that demonstrate those challenges, and they can be hurtful, right? Because as a mortal who doesn't have that restlessness, doesn't experience that restlessness to that degree, it can feel hurtful because it's like, well, why can't you be present for me? Aren't I enough? Am I lovable enough that you couldn't just stop that? And that's a valid wound, really, it is, But in order for us to become at peace with the decisions of loved ones that we worry about or we're concerned about or whatever, in order for us to become at peace with it, we have to explore these ideas and theories because we have to be well with it, right? We can't carry that. And being angry or spiteful or hateful, those are all legitimate reactions, but all they're doing is tearing us apart. So if we choose to react like that. And once again, usually, like I said, anger is usually misdirected fear. Okay? So if you, which I'm certain you do, because I believe with this pandemic, I think things have escalated with addiction and the challenges there, wound families, wound loved ones, create heartache, that kind of a thing. But try that on. Try that theory on that I have. For your own good. Just put it up there and let it, throw it on the stove and let it simmer a little bit and see how that might help you. Well, first of all, understand what you do and don't have control over, because that's a thing there that you just don't. But having it simmer on the stove is going to make the house smell good, metaphorically, right? And it's going to bring the volume down with your own anxiety about it. It's going to create peace for you. It's going to heal your heart wherever those wounds, exist within that cycle. Okay? So, all right. So try that codon and see if that provides you with any comfort or peace or validity at all, right? See if you can get that to apply, because we don't want to carry the wounds of those poor souls that have a memory of being a free-flowing agent and are struggling with being here. And so they're trying everything under the kitchen sink to reach that level of euphoria, right? That we all felt before we became immortal. So I don't know. It's just something to think about. It really. I explained this to the women that I worked with yesterday who lost loved ones to an overdose, and I felt that it really, I could see the mother in particular. I mean, she came in, her shoulders were just up around her ears, and her face was careworn, and I just watched it soften her heart. And she'd done plenty of work. I'm not saying that I'm the miracle worker here, but it was one more tool in her toolbox to patch up her heart from being shattered from losing her son. So I thought, well, this is something I want to talk about. So when I was out walking in the cemetery, I'm like, gosh, I hope I pull this. A lot of times I'm like, gosh, I hope I pull this off right. Okay. Now, I'm noticing, and I've had interesting experiences, like the universe was always so good to me, exposed me to things at a young age to where I could adopt empathy and compassion. And I was always a curious kid too, so whatever was strange, I wanted to run right at it too. I wanted to get to the bottom of it, So I mean, we're going back to the 70s here. That's when I was in high school. I'm a 70s kid, and I had two friends that I acquired that with the transgender community. Now, don't come in and say, you're not saying this right. I'm doing the best I can, all right? So, but I was gifted to have these, my friends come in to my life. And one's name was Greg, and I'm not going to say his last name. And the other one's name was Danny. And Danny went to Guilford, for any of you Guilford kids, and Greg went to Harlem. So you may have had friendships or relationships with these very charismatic individuals. And now, we already had sort of a, in the 70s, in the end of the 70s, there was kind of some cross-gender sort of, like, you know, guys were wearing platform shoes and their hair was long, and you know, moving into more of a stylish sort of a thing from hippies to, this was our own signature, right? But both of these men dressed as women, and they did it flawlessly, to tell you. And Greg, even in, I don't know, like 17 years old, he was going to get a sex change. And, you know, I was like, whatever, it's not going to make a difference to me. And then I thought, well, we'll see, you know, because when we're teenagers, we're so fluent anyways, and we're attracted to certain things and repelled by other things, and we're still trying to figure it all out, right? So, but the universe graced me with their friendships. So I was already like on board with, and this is decades ago now, right? So I had already had these unique experiences where, well, that's just who they are, right? And I'll tell you that Danny was a beautiful woman. I mean, when he dressed in drag, and they both wanted sex changes. So this is, I'm going past that this was just a drag thing, but there was something there that they resonated with. Their soul resonated with it, right? And then I'm seeing more and more, or I'm hearing about more and more kind of, how do I want to say this? Influences or changes or identity. That's the word I was searching for, identity. And how some of these younger kids or people are experiencing some identity, whether it's a challenge or an awakening. I can't say for them because it's their own personal experience, how they're embracing their identity, right? This seems to be kind of a, now, on the other hand, social media is great at pushing these negative narratives and, you know, trying to get a rise out of people about it, and you know, basically stirring the crap. So you'll see people share stuff that's just like, really, did you? Anyway, you get my drift. So, but it's all to like work us into a lather and, you know, fight about this or that or whatever. So we have to be mindful how much of that we like take in. So, but I think back in the 70s, I think I already like subconsciously downloaded this data and then I tucked it away somewhere. But I'm now I have a voice and I have a platform to talk about what may be going on, and it may be helpful to you if you have a loved one that is going through an identity transition or an identity crisis, because that may be how you perceive it. Maybe they don't, probably not. So I have a theory. It's very similar to what's going on like with those who have this memory of being a free-flowing spirit and not confined to a physical body, right? And I have a theory that these individuals who are identifying as a man or a woman, I believe that this is a soul memory that is so intense for them that they struggle with the body they were assigned to. Or, that maybe I should better yet say stuck with, okay? So that memory is so entrenched in them of being a feminine physical being or being a masculine physical being that it's making them crazy, right? I know somebody, and I talked to him about it. I have a friend who has a granddaughter she's very young, right? And she's identifying as a boy. And I'm sure some of the family members or neighbors or whatever connected to these people are having their opinions about it, and what needs to be done about it. But they are embracing this identity, and they're supporting how he or she now he feels, and he's identifying with it. Now, this isn't to start a big, that's wrong, and that's not what it's about. What I'm trying to do is to provide you with the opportunity to consider maybe where this is coming from, okay? That their spirit, their soul, the memory of a past life or a past connection is so imprinted on their current travel here on the planet, in the body that they were provided with, that's influencing the way their perception of their self may be. So if we take that into consideration, maybe it can give us a little bit more empathy and patience and compassion. Because for most of us, once we got here, we forgot, and we're relearning because we, made a decision. We picked our parents. A lot of people don't like to hear that, especially the ones that blame their parents for everything that's wrong in their life. And they, so we don't remember. So we adapted to the physical body we were graced with, hopefully with good health, right? And we embraced that assignment, right? Because this is all an assignment, right? Us being here, us finding our way, what our purpose is, what we're supposed to do. It's all an assignment. So, for most of us, we just, okay, this is who I am. This is what I have to work with. And then we kind of pick at it too. I don't like this. My thighs are this, or whatever, which we should stop. We should never do that. We're so grateful to have a healthy body. And if this past year didn't teach us that, I don't know what's going to help that sink in. But needless to say, so that was something I wanted to share with you guys, and see if it helps. See if it helps you exhale with it, right? See if that will help you understand the challenges, like say with addiction, the challenges there, how we can support self-love is key, so on and so forth, right? Like, just integrate it into our thought process, which will make things make our journey more comfortable, right? Because we're all here trying to find our way around. Seriously. Mm. So with that said, I felt like that was important to share today. And maybe it just kind of broadens our perspective a little bit. Hey, they maybe have a memory, like I'm certain I had some past life connection with the Los Angeles area. I just know it. I know it when I'm there. My home is here, obviously. My family is here. Well, one's there and one's here. I have one son that lives here. My granddaughter's here. My business and my friends and loved ones are here. I feel at home here. But when I go there, it's powerful. It's like, whew, So take that and then apply it to someone who maybe remembers their subconscious. Because if you tried to sit down and go, hey, it's possible you could be having some, past life, experience here, magical experience. That's why you use, or that's why you drink, or or maybe you have a soul memory of being a different gender than the body you were assigned to. That's so powerful that you're not comfortable, right? And so, but maybe if we look at it like that, instead of, maybe trying to figure out whose fault it was that they, did this, or whose fault it was that they responded like that, and it's gonna make the world go round much better, it will. And if you're extremely reactive to some of these things, take an inventory and see why. What's going on there that would, ruin your day, right? To stand next to somebody in the grocery store or whatever that you don't understand, So, okay, that's pretty much all I had to say. I'm sure there was somebody out there that needed to hear that, and as of yesterday, I was determined to try the best I could to describe these levels of consciousness, and I hope I did a good job, because it was a touchy subject, right, to enter into. But fortunately, I had some personal experiences that gave me the repertoire, I guess, to kind of share what I experienced, and that's by the grace of the universe, because I've had amazing experiences here with all kinds of people that don't necessarily fit into my quote unquote persona, or whatever I'm trying to say here, but without this, energetic diversity and love and compassion, if we're just going to stay in a little bubble, I promise you, because I know better, you're missing out. You truly are missing out. So anyway, okay, I hope that was helpful. And it was kind of a touchy and sort of a heavy subject to tackle, but it needed to be addressed. So with that said, all of you, let's stay well. It's looking like, the numbers are starting to drop, and integration into our communities is becoming more and more of a reality, which I'm grateful for. Whatever that looks like, it seems to be getting better. Spring is in the air. That's so helpful. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Your personal health is your personal decision, what you choose to do with it. So, but D3, I keep telling you guys, and this is something everybody just should be on. You should be on. D3 is a lung defense. It's a lung defense. It's an immune booster. We want to support our immune system the best way we possibly can. And better yet, you probably can't hear my crow, but she's out there, she's calling. I already fed her, so I don't have to jump up like a trained seal and go throw her peanuts out. I had some pizza crust for her, so she's even more excited. So, but, you know, taking in immune boosting foods, getting outside, get with nature. It will get you straight. You'll be right as rain if you are embracing. And now, what a lovely time of year to be embracing, nature. So we got to get outside. We've got to breathe fresh air. Getting with nature will ground us. It will give us a foundation to go about our day and I don't know, in a more positive direction. But so, do those little self-care things. Everybody's, just craving to get back together, and now, the weather's getting nicer. We can have more outdoor gatherings and fun, and I just can't wait, so all right. So with that said, all I can do is send you love and support, because and ask you, don't tangle yourself in these dividing circumstances and fights and Pepe Le Pews and good God and Dr. Seuss. Come on. Like, they, there's always this they, oh, now they are banning Dr. Seuss. Well, no, this is what I do. Do the research. So evidently the heirs of Dr. Seuss are going to stop publishing 6 of his books, right? That's their decision, because they own the rights to that, right? Why in God's name would anybody get worked up about that, right? Why? It's like, nobody's taking anything away from you. And trust me when I say I'm a big, free speech is a big issue with me, right? I mean, I will defend free speech regardless of who's doing it, right? And I could name some names or whatever. I just don't want to get into it. But, why are we investing our precious energy and resources into ignorant, distractive narratives? That's not worth your time or energy. And don't share it, don't spread it. You are better than that. You're smarter than that. So let's not, Pepe Le Pew, perception of him is he got Me Too'd, okay? If that hadn't been, nobody would have thought about it one way or another. And how many of you are even going to go see Space Jam? Like, really? You're going to talk about it on Facebook, but you're not going to go see the movie anyway. So what do you care? Let's be mindful of that, because we're being gaslit. I don't know by who. I don't care, right? We're being gaslit, and we don't want to buy into that. And usually when there's a big gaslighting thing over here, somebody's bombing Syria over there, or somebody's reaching into the pockets of whoever, right? So It's not worth it. Is it worth it to fight with your neighbors over this stuff? Come on. You know, it's good that everybody sees things differently. That's what makes the world go round. Hence, what my topic was about today. Being patient and respectful of those that are different than us. You know? There was a time when I'd get rabble-roused about my job. It was so stupid. You know, people would come up to me and go, I don't know, you tell me what I'm thinking. It's like, get out of here. Like, oh my God. You know? Really? You know, now it seems to have, over the past maybe 20 years, it seemed to have just kind of become part of the norm, you know. And when I'm done working, I'm not wandering around grocery stores trying to read people's minds. I don't care what they think. I want to get my food and get out of there, right? So, you know, I don't know. But you get my drift. So, with that said, let's integrate to the best of our ability. Let's take into consideration some non-conventional energetic fields that may be influencing our loved ones. Let's support them. And turning it back around at the end of the day, self-love is key, right? That is. And if we're busy worrying about Pepe Le Pew, sorry, or, you know, how is that supporting our mind, body, and spirit connection? It isn't, right? Okay. All right, you guys. That was a heavy one. But I love you guys. I want you to stay well. Up here, this is where it seems to be crucial at this point, staying well here as well as the physical body, right? Because we're being gaslit. It's not good. Don't play, you know. Don't fall into it. Okay. All right, you guys, I love you. Be well. I'm going to stop now. See, I ramble. All right. Mind, body, spirit, connection. Love to you. I'll see you next Sunday at 11:11. Okay, maybe I'll have something that's a little lighter to talk about. Right? Okay. All right. Stay well.